From KMUW Wichita,
From Toronto, Ontario.
And from Armilla, Spain.
This is You're Saying It Wrong. Let's talk words. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Ross. As of today, it looks like we're going to have a Christmas in the lower to mid 60s here. What about the two of you? Does it actually seem a lot like Christmas around there?
Well, for me, it really does. There's snow outside. It just snowed a little bit today. And it's a chill in the air, not icy cold. It really feels like Christmas. It's a white Christmas, which is just beautiful.
Do you want me to sing it?
No, I don't, Kathy, please. That'll make it a dud Christmas.
Slip it in. Yeah, here it's well, Granada does Christmas well. I mean, the lights and everything, and there's this whole little Christmas fair by the park, and it's definitely getting Christmassy. I, of course, have not bought any presents yet, so I'm one of those last minute people. Uh-oh.
Historically, I always have been too. I used to be really bad, so bad that I would go out on like Christmas Eve. And I wouldn't even know what I was going to buy people. I would just kind of wander around until something hit me, you know?
Wow.
Ross and I used to do that. Ross, remember? You and I used to do that.
Do you remember that awful, it was like, I think it was the day before Christmas Eve, and we were looking for a tape on, I think, whales for my son. Remember that, Kathy?
I do.
And it was a snowstorm.
Tower Video. I remember.
Tower Video, a snowstorm.
It was horrible, yes.
The wind was blowing in our face. We got the tape, though. I remember that.
I remember it vividly.
And I remember looking at those whales 5,000 times in the next couple of months, too, as he kept putting it on. But
amazing.
Actually, Kathy and I know a lot about whales because of Alex.
Remember, he was always like, "What's your favorite whale?" I'd be like, "I don't know, minke."
But at least we knew what a minke was because of him.
That's true.
I would never have known what a minke whale was unless for him. Whatever. It was good.
A minke, like
M-I-N-K-E.
Like when Inspector Clouseau is talking about a monkey.
A minke. Yeah, it is actually. But it looks like a mini blue whale is what a minke whale looks like.
Wow. Okay.
Ross knows his whales.
Well, before we get into our main topic today, I'm sure that we have listener emails to get to.
Always.
We do. Kathy, you want to read the email? This was a complicated one.
It was. It's actually... Go, Ross.
Sorry. No, go ahead. Go ahead. I thought you wanted to read it.
It was very complicated. It was a follow-up from Ed in Washington. We should thank him for it or not. I'm not sure, actually. Who asked the other week, he had asked about the in the sooner the later.
Oh,
remember?
Right.
And we talked about that. Explains it was an adverb. It wasn't good enough for Ed.
We think. And Ed
that
is
was
right.
It. Okay. And Ed said, we said it's an adverb to him. And Ed asked the follow-up. He said, well, if it's acting as an adverb, then how is it modifying sooner and better? I understand what adverbs like slowly and quickly do, but what does the do?
Mm-hmm.
And
Ed had a good question.
That's a good question. Yeah.
It's a reasonable question, and we're going to give an unreasonable answer because basically this is all over the place. We did a little bit of research on this. And, okay, the Oxford Dictionary said thou can serve as an adjective in terms of modifying an adverb. But
an adverb, right.
An adverb in this case, we said we'd probably call it, and this is where we get controversial, a determiner. And a determiner is a word like the or that. And basically, it kind of determines what's going on, and that means that it's in the and that, etc. What do? They modify, guess what? Nouns.
Uh-huh.
So then we get it to a point, is the sooner the better a noun? Is that whole phrase a noun? Then we get into Eric Partridge, who said, well, yeah, it's modifying the entire, which we had talked about earlier, I think. It modifies the entire phrase. That's an epithet. It modifies the whole phrase, okay?
The adverbial phrase, we should say. Shouldn't we?
I don't know, Kathy.
I'm throwing that one to you, baby.
Because some people, but really, that phrase is actually an adjective because it's modifying something, the sooner the better about something, right? It's not just, so a lot of people, linguists would say, well, that whole phrase is an adjective, and therefore the is modifying the whole phrase, so it's an adverb again. And then other people are saying the determinative is really an Anglo-centric sort of idea. In other languages, it doesn't work. So then is it an adverb or is it an adjective or is it a determinative? Kathy just highlighted something as saying it's an adjective too, they say.
Yes.
And you know what we're going to say? We have no idea. There's a lot
we
of
don't
wiggle
even
room
care
here.
anymore. We don't care.
Sorry, Ed.
But on one thing I do think it's sort of interesting because like there was an article basically saying determinatives, Anglo-centric, et cetera, but we're talking about English, so we have to be Anglo-centric. But the key problem really with language, unlike let's say, axiomatic math with Euclid or whatever, is that it's messy and fuzzy. There's a lot of fuzziness in here. For example, even the or the in the statement in Old English, the used to be that in effect. It was like actually specifying something very like in a very determinative way. Now kind of it's sort of fuzzier. Language is fuzzy.
Yeah, the word "the" isn't the same as plugging in the numeral 2 or something like that.
No.
Yeah.
Although for that matter, though, with Euclid, if you have the a triangle, a triangle on a like a globe, that changes everything too. So even math is fuzzy too. So forget that.
I never cared for geometry. I never cared for math. I mean, what am I talking about? I was nah. I liked English.
But the angles would be wider than
I
whatever.
understand. I don't know. Okay. I don't care about that either. I don't care. That's my new motto. I don't know. I don't care.
Well, moving along.
Well,
thank you, Ross. Let's get off this whole thing, please. Now let's go to something a little more simple from the old days. We're going to go back in the past. We're going to talk about anacronyms. Okay, the question is, for example, like, why do we still dial a phone?
Oh, so these are phrases or terms that we use that don't actually apply to anything these days. They used to mean something, and we still use them, even though they don't literally mean
precisely.
Right.
An acronym is a word that you use in an anachronistic way.
Yeah, cool.
What you did with the word refers to something, a former thing you used to do with it that does not apply anymore. Yeah. But the term is still used.
Like podcast.
Well, yeah, there are no more iPods, are there?
Right.
You're right. Yeah. I never really think about the iPod and podcast anymore as being, related.
I got something interesting on this. I was mentioning it to someone yesterday or the day before. Do you know where, you probably both know it. I didn't. You know where iPod comes from? The pod part?
Oh.
Let's see if Fletcher, if you can guess. Fletcher might be able to guess being a film fan, and that gives it away.
Oh.
2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah. We got it. Yep. Open the pod bay doors, Hal. Yep, that's it.
Wow.
The guy liked that sounded. It sounded modern and sort of, spacey and stuff. So he threw it in the word.
iPod.
Well, back in the AOL days, that I put that as the way when I signed on. That's what I heard. Open the pod bay doors, Hal. Yes, I'm a nerd.
I'm sure we're gonna jump into some. The ones that I can think of just right off the top of my head are. We in radio we still talk about cutting tape or getting things on tape. Like if I'm going to interview somebody, I'll usually have them say their name ahead of time just so I know I'm pronouncing it correctly, and I'll tell them, could you just say your name and spell it for me just so I have it on tape. And there's no tape. There's just these digital things, right?
Yeah.
And people still say filming something, even though very few movies are actually shot on film anymore.
Yeah, you're
That's
right.
True.
At a more technical level, when in publishing, they still see things are leading and kerning, and leading means the space between lines and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And we've gotten books back, and they go, they have too much leading or whatever, and they don't use lead type anymore for most books.
Yeah.
No, they're all over the place.
So shall we start with one?
Yes.
See if you
Go,
can figure
Catherine.
out. Okay, we're going to go something a little more prosaic. The term we're talking about, the anacronym, is dashboard.
Oh, the really dusty thing at the front of my car.
Yeah, that thing that you just sort of lean on and go, ew, what the hell? That. Okay, what did it come from? We have three choices, Fletcher.
Dashboard.
One,
okay.
A literal board during horse and buggy days used in the 1800s to keep grime and detritus from the detritus.
What
am I saying? Detritus. To keep grime. Let's just go there from hitting riders. Two, a term invented by Henry Ford in 1903 for the Model A board across the front of the car. The dash was like the horizontal line, it looked like. And three, a term invented in the 1400s, the Old English, okay, so I'm going to butcher this, dashboard, in contrast to steerboard, the steering side of the ship, and backboard, the opposite side. In effect, a bumper to protect the ship when docking.
Oh, see,
you did a
good job because you chose both horses and nautical terms, and those are two things that I really like when it comes to etymology, because there's so many things that come from both of those. I don't want to say it's the Henry Ford one, and the Old English one sounds fishy, so I'm going to go with the actual board on the horse and buggy.
Fletcher, you got it right.
I think, Ross, we overdid the ship one.
I think we did, Kat.
We did buckboard.
I was proud of those, but I think you're right. I think we got carried away there. No, it literally is basically a board or a leather apron in front of the carriage, and it was used to stop mud from splashing.
Oh,
which is really cool because it does
from dashing up into your face. Yeah.
Yep. Dashing up. Yep. Exactly. It's a really cool etymology, though. I really like that one, even though Fletcher guessed it.
Although it seems to me, it's interesting to me that, okay, I understand it was in the front of the carriage, but the fact that it became inside the car, the panel under the windshield, seems like it still was quite a step.
I agree. Yeah.
To get from keeping dirt off your duster coat, to.
No, but if you ever look at really early cars before Ford, they're they're really they call them they're carriages, and they look literally like carriages, horseless carriages without horses. So basically, I think they just took a carriage and put a motor in it.
Yeah,
so you have the dashboard there anyway, and then you expand it to
and the dashboard just kind of creeps back a little until it's behind the windshield.
Yeah, it's slow.
Still called the
Although
dashboard.
I was going to say, and then it holds a glove compartment. No one ever. It used to literally be for gloves. You don't put gloves in there.
Exactly.
Everybody I know just has their manual in there and a lot of stuff that you wonder, what is this?
Yeah.
We're talking about. Yeah, right. We're talking about this, but eventually they're going to probably all have driverless cars. And I wonder if the dashboard is going to go away then. You just have the window up there. I don't know. I mean, who knows? But
it would look so odd.
It would. But do you need a dashboard anyway now? I don't know.
You know what's funny? What's funny though about this as an anacronym is we're kind of saying, okay, it got moved all the way back behind the windshield. Why is it a dashboard? Right. But in 100 years, people might say something like, why do we say dialing whatever? If it's a phone,
Fletcher, you moved right on to the right thing. Our next word was dial.
What I mean is it's obvious to us why we say dial a phone, but maybe in 100 years, it won't be obvious. Just like dashboard isn't obvious to us now. It's just interesting how, of course, the farther we get from it in time, the stranger it is. But it wouldn't have been strange to people 100 years ago.
No, but I'm not sure dial is good. I'm not sure for a young person, dial is particularly going to be I mean, no one dials phones nowadays, really.
Yeah, but
And if
presumably
you,
they have grandparents who dial the phone and might say something about it. No?
Well,
yeah, I know, possibly, but do they
yeah,
really
Mm,
associate it though?
the
no.
thing I wonder, and we can talk about dial however you want here, but um, if that's still the word that's associated with the action of pushing the numbers,
Hmm.
Hmm.
then that's what it becomes. Like dial doesn't mean
It
a
doesn't mean,
turning
No,
thing. Dial
yeah,
means pushing the numbers or calling up somebody
right,
on the phone.
right,
right.
So like for young people, that's what dial is,
exactly.
right? Yeah.
That's the
Mm,
whole point of an acronym, because a
Mhm.
dashboard doesn't mean something that prevents mud from dashing up
Right.
to
Right.
your, to your body. It just means we actually, I mean, it doesn't mean that at all. If
Hmm.
someone showed me a quote dashboard on a carriage, I wouldn't call it a dashboard.
Yeah, that's true.
You
I
know?
would call it the thing that keeps the dust and mud off your clothes.
Yeah, that's what I would call it too. Exactly that, Kathy. You got it.
Okay, dial. The word is dial.
Mhm.
What's the genesis of the word? The origination for it? Did it come from the concept, the word meaning daily? Was it an aberration on daily? Was it did it evolve from the word hourglass? Or did it evolve from the word sundial?
Oh, dial. Around. Well, it seems weird, but I'm just gonna say sundial. It.
Two for two, baby.
Oh, good.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, you got to
Yeah.
explain this one to me, though. It just that one just
See,
seemed the most likely, but I don't. But I can't explain that.
Although, actually,
it's all
Ross,
three, really,
Oh,
actually,
yeah,
Fletcher. That's
okay.
the key. I mean, you got them right, but any one you picked would have been correct.
I just saw
Because
that.
daily, the dial comes from daily comes from dialis in Latin, which comes from dies day, which comes actually from shine. The whole idea is shining, and then from in Proto-Indo-European it became day. So they're all three are correct. They're basically faces. The one question I do have
No,
for
hourglass
you.
isn't correct.
Oh, hourglass. I'm sorry. I didn't think of hourglass. Hourglass is wrong. The other two are right. I was thinking of hourglass in terms of time, in terms of day, but you're
Yes.
right. Yeah. No, that's true. But the other interesting thing, though, is there was a word dial plate, which goes back to the 1680s as in terms of a round plate, and then from there it kind of like whizzed over into a telephone.
Now I want to guess what?
Oh, what was the first use that they could find of dialing as in a phone? Date.
Oh, that's funny because I don't know how like A- Alexander Graham Bell used his phone. Did he just pick it up and all of us? What? I don't know how phones used to work. That's a really good question. Um, okay, when's the first instance of actually dialing a phone? Actually dialing it. It seems later, right? People didn't dial things earlier. They like picked up the phone and told people who they wanted to talk to.
Right.
Right. So what are we talking like the 1920s?
I would have thought that, but no.
Oh,
1879.
wow.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
The concept of a circular plate marked with numbers and letters which can be rotated to establish connection. 1879.
But let
Dial tone was 1920.
but
Okay.
let's go backwards here. But there's also an attestation that Kath and I found from the 1650s to work with the aid of a dial or compass or measuring as with a dial, which is in effect is rotate. In effect, I would think it like you're rotating with your finger, maybe. I don't know, but I'm just
I don't
guessing.
think so. I
Am I
think
am I
that's a
pushing it?
little,
Am I pushing
you're
it?
pushing it.
Sorry.
But I
Sorry.
also have to step back and say there was a reason for hourglass. I just found why, because it was buried here in the notes. OED 1410 nautical, we're going to nautical, was the term dial, DYOLL, which was likely to refer to a sand glass, i.e. an
Oh,
hourglass.
wow.
So all three were right. That's
Oh,
why we had them,
wow.
Ross. We
Wow,
were being
Kathy.
clever.
Fletcher got
Not
all.
now, but before we were clever. Once we were smart, Ross.
I know.
That's amazing.
But that's the
Yeah.
problem with etymology, though, because you think you got it, then you get next thing you know that's related to this, and you never know. Whatever. Let's just skip this. We have hang up. We're not going to bother with choices on hang up, Fletcher. When do you think the literal use of hanging something up?
Hanging up the phone.
Hanging up
Oh,
the
like hanging
phone.
up the phone. We're talking about the phones.
Yeah.
Mm, let's pick a decade.
Just pick a decade.
Yeah.
Well, if dialing was in the 1870s, then let's say it was hanging it up 1910s.
Good, Fletcher.
Ooh.
Very good.
Did I get it?
1912. Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right.
Yep. Do you still say hang up? Like I
Oh,
do.
absolutely. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
always
yeah.
say
Yeah.
it.
I
Does
think
anyone
that's-
ever say anything
Yeah,
else or
people,
not?
people don't say. I mean, what would you say? Like turn off the phone?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you say
that's
hang
what you
up.
do.
I'm gonna hang
It's
up
hanging
now.
up. Yeah.
No, I'm just
That's
trying to
the thing.
think of it. Do you ever say anything different? Because we got a not a Pareto, one of those solicitation calls, and I said, yeah, I'm just going to hang up. I mean, I just said it automatically like that. I never think of it. I would never say anything else. Cut off? No,
No.
no.
I'm curious about hang up like oh, he's got a real hang up.
That's from I think that's from the 30s or 40s. I think. I'm going to look it up because I think it comes from like
I
you're
just
hung
looked
up.
it up.
You did when?
A problem, a difficulty, 1950.
Oh, okay.
Emotional problem, 1952. Yeah,
But it's not really
1950s.
related to phone. I think it's more related to you're hung up. You're like hanging. You can't do anything.
Yeah, yeah, I guess.
You know,
It was delaying things initially.
yeah, I don't
Like
think it's the same
something that
thing.
delayed. It was a hang up. Yeah. Okay. I was just curious suddenly.
Now we're going to move on to log in, another computer term.
I like this one. This was
I know
interesting.
this is really interesting. It come from logging days in the Pacific Northwest. Literally, after a tree was cut, the log was in the count of trees harvested. A word forming element number 2. One is immersed or driven by, mostly from French-derived words, ultimately from the Greek logos or logon, in archaeology, that all sort of study of were related to, or from the measurement of a ship's distance by dropping a log in the water that's tied to the ship.
Oh gosh. Well, I thought of like a captain's log or something. And that's the only one that's anywhere close to that. Ships. So I'll go with that one, but it doesn't seem right.
Holy smoke! It is.
Am I
right.
right?
It's
I know,
doing
it is.
incredibly.
All
You're
right.
You're on fire. Yeah. If you wanted to know how fast your ship was growing, you drop a log over the side.
Drop a log. Well, yeah, I guess so. So, well, there it goes.
Well, I believe it was attached to the ship.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's
No, it-
going really fast.
No, it's actually sort of cool because it was attached to the ship and the rope had knots on it.
Oh, sure.
And so, the knot, you would count how many knots
Yeah, okay.
the log was away, and then you could
Here
figure
we
it
go.
out.
Knots for speed. We're going 7 knots.
Yeah.
Look at that log.
Right,
It's back
right.
there.
Okay, I got a question for both of you. How far is a knot in terms of like miles per hour?
Oh,
I
I don't know.
I don't even know how many anythings. I'm not a weights and
Oh,
measurement
I forgot the numbers again. Sorry,
Yeah,
not
Dad.
a weight and measurement
Yeah,
I have
Yeah.
no idea. No idea.
Well,
at all.
it's about like almost 9. It's like you divide by 1 divided by 1.15. So it's about like 87% of a mile.
Oh. Okay.
So it's pretty close. I didn't realize that actually.
I just want to go back to Fletcher saying logbook. The speeds, the log speed, when they were doing the knots from the log, were recorded in the logbook.
Right.
Oh,
That's how
wow.
logbook started. And then first it was just the speed. And then it became the book where you recorded anything important like captain's log, star date,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Then it became the important thing. And then that was the genesis of it, though,
That
was
is
just
why.
the log.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is why. Okay.
Yeah. And that
Wow.
genesis makes a lot of sense because you're logging into the computer, you're putting your password in, you're basically, in effect, signing a modern logbook, really,
A
in
modern
a way.
logbook. Oh man. So
Mhm.
I was was really right.
Yeah.
You were
That's cool.
incredibly right.
You were 1,000% right.
Deadline. We know the term deadline. The original deadline, where did it come from? Okay.
Oh,
A 4-foot high fence defining a no man's land inside the walls around the Confederate prisoner of war camp at Andersonville during the Civil War.
wow.
You crossed the deadline, you were shot. Pretty grim.
Wow. Yeah.
2, much less grim. A guideline marked on the bed of a printing press. So it's like journalists, that, you know how we say journalists have a deadline. Then you were not allowed to have type below the deadline. So it was like, that was it. You couldn't write anymore. That was the point at which you had to stop writing.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, early English horse racing. When the horse runs over the finish line, the timing is over. It's dead, not the horse, the race.
Horse could be dead too, retired, but yeah.
That's true. Thank you, Ross.
Well, I was
Purity
going to
of the
pick.
turf, Ross.
I was going to pick the printing one until you gave me horse racing. You guys know I can't resist horse racing, so that's what I'm going with is horse racing.
Well, we got you. We got him finally, Kat.
Finally.
It's interesting because the top one, the deadline with the Andersonville, is all over the place as an etymology. It sounds really kind of weird and exciting.
Yeah.
But the probable etymology is the bed of a printing press.
Okay.
You know, with the line and that type below that is dead.
Yeah, that sounded pretty good. That Andersonville one's just sounds too exotic and specific, if that makes sense. Like it's just just a little too strange to have turned into, you know, what we talk about as a deadline with time.
Yeah, Kathy just put a thing, how do we know, you know, which one it is? There is a lot of debate about this back and forth, and a lot of people still say that that one, oddly enough, is the correct one. But looking backwards on some of the research, it seems to me, and it seems to some people, that the deadline preceded the Andersonville, but then the Andersonville people took it up and then applied it to that, and then that became common. It is controversial, though, I should say that. I personally, and a number of other people, and I'm not sure, Kath, do you agree or not, feel that it's probably the type that then entered into the common thing during the Civil War?
I don't know, because I mean, I can't see, to be honest with you, I think that it might be just two branches, because I can't see a commander of a Confederate prison knowing anything about a typography and a printing press.
Well, I think we go back to things like, I mean, we can argue this in this sense, which is interesting.
We could, and I think we might.
But, you know, because we did talk about earlier, I think a while back, we talked about how printing terms came into common.
Correct, but why would you apply deadline for a fence around a stockade from a printing press term? I don't. To me, it's not a logical extension.
Well, we have uppercase and lowercase.
We had uppercase, lowercase is a very different thing though, because that's still about letters. They were
I
letters from a case. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's a legitimate to me jump. Whereas like a printing press versus a prison, I don't feel it.
I think because the printing was ubiquitous in those days. I mean, there were like printers. Nowadays,
everybody printed. Yeah,
everyone printed. Every newspaper,
like
every town had a newspaper. So like a deadline would be a very common phrase when you're like setting type for a paper, for a broadside, you know, for anything you're doing it. This is, how do we know? We don't.
We don't know. I find all of them actually problematic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the last one we definitely know is because I made it up. So.
I know. Well, that's stunned that Fletcher picked it.
Well, I mean,
that one came completely from my head. So
I didn't really even listen to everything he said. He just said horse racing, and so I just
like, that's it. But my bet's on that. The bay.
But again, I mean, we've basically discussed something that it's a real problem in etymologies. You know, how do you determine which is what? You don't even have. Like, we don't even have first usages very confidently. My guess still is that the key thing for me that, Kathy, which I'm going to argue, and, you know, you could disagree, is that deadline was ubiquitous throughout America in terms of printing. everywhere, everyone knew what deadline meant in terms of a deadline on a sheet
Did
of
they?
paper.
Okay. I haven't.
Because, well, it's
Okay.
like we were saying with printing, everyone was printing. I mean, every little, I mean, we have books, in my collection, like from Hartford, Connecticut printers in, I don't know, like tiny little towns in the South.
Uh-huh.
So my guess would be that someone is going to know that term. So my guess would be that they would
I
pick that up.
understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but the problem I have is, okay, what I have seen is that deadline returned it was used in the South, the American Civil War. The term died, and then it became the printing deadline. The printing deadline was after
Ooh,
that's what I have seen. That's why I'm debating it. And then I have seen the opposite of what you're saying, that some etymologists think that perhaps the Civil War deadline influenced the printing
yeah.
deadline. So that's why as far as I'm concerned, we go back to what I said earlier. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I really care that
Yeah.
deeply to pursue it.
Yeah, actually, though, I'm going to counter this for one last second.
Ah!
My guess would be, let's look it up in the OED, because my guess would be that I think Kathy may be right, that we first have deadline in the early 1900s, and then we backwards the other term deadline and say it came from that. I don't know. Let's look at the OED for one
OED,
second.
The original, the first one, they have a cord that doesn't move. Okay, they have the initial is military prison's boundary line.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Then they have, it says what I was saying, a deadline imposed by the printing office one.
Okay. That is interesting.
QED, or whatever you say in these cases.
I still am not going to go QED on this. I'm going to still argue that they may have said deadline then, but the deadline that we talk about does not come from that. And then later that was picked up, because we see that in etymologies as well. They go backwards in time.
I'm sorry, Ross, but I am going to disagree.
Okay, we can disagree. We can agree to disagree.
If I'm just going to go with the OED guideline is 1917 on the printing.
So therefore,
press.
Okay, so therefore
1917.
Oh wow!
So therefore, it probably then I'm going to argue backwards that it probably did come from that, and then it was like ex post facto, gone back, said backwards. But that never, because the one thing I do have a problem with, like a prison camp in a day without like movies, like Stalag 17 or something. They're not going to. I mean, how many people are going to know about that deadline?
Not many, but it's like you just need a couple people that work at a newspaper.
Kath, who was there in the 1860s?
Ross, I haven't told you a lot about
me. You're my little sister by many, many years, Kath.
You're Saying It Wrong is part of the NPR network and is produced in the studios of KMUW in Wichita, Kansas by me, Fletcher Powell. Kathy Petrus records from her home in Armia, Spain, Ross Petrus from his home in Toronto, Ontario in Canada. Torrin Anderson composed our theme music, and our digital team is Beth Golay and Carly Cooper. You can find all of our past episodes by subscribing to the You're Saying It Wrong podcast wherever you get your podcasts, or by visiting us at kmuw.org. If you have a question for Kathy and Ross, if you'd like to suggest a topic, or you just want to reach out, you can email me at powell@kmuw.org or email them at kandrpetrus@gmail.com. You can also email us a voice memo of you asking your question. You might get your voice heard on air. If you'd like to do the same thing by downloading the KMUW app, you can do that and just click the Talk to Us button. You can find all of Kathy and Ross's books pretty much anywhere you get books, and a handful of them are also available on audiobook read by the authors themselves. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week.